Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour. Securing a free, stable and secure Indo-Pacific remains high on the agenda as Quad foreign ministers meet in Tokyo. Jaishankar says a clear message should go that Quad is here to stay and grow. Israel's Prime Minister gets Cabinet's backing to decide on the manner and timing of a Hezbollah rocket attack on the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. Despite multiple exit polls pointing to an opposition win, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro wins a third term with 51% of the vote. And after Manu Bakar's bronze, India pins its medal hopes on Arjun Babutha and Ramita Jindal in the 10-meter air rifle finals at the Paris Olympics. Focusing on strengthening cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region and laying the ground for the Quad Leaders Summit to be held in India later this year, India's External Affairs Minister Jaishankar attended the Quad Foreign Ministers meeting in Tokyo. The minister held discussions with his counterparts from Australia, Japan and the United States and highlighted the challenges of the Quad countries.
Is to ensure global economic growth while also de-risking it. Supply chains are a particular focus for resilience, just as we push for trusted and transparent digital partnerships. The march of technology has also acquired extraordinary proportions, holding possibilities of the very manner in which we live, think and act. In a sense, we are in the midst of a re-globalization. At the same time, it is only our collective endeavors that can proof the international system against disruptions, man-made or natural. It is therefore essential that our political understanding strengthens, our economic partnerships grow, our technology collaborations expand, and our people-to-people comfort intensifies. Our meeting should send a clear message that the Quad is here to stay, here to do, and here to grow.
In his opening statement, the minister stressed on the importance of Quad for ensuring a free and stable Indo-Pacific and the need to strengthen cooperation in the Indo-Pacific.
Political democracies, pluralistic societies, and market economies, there is the key question of upholding a rules-based order. It is only our collaboration that can ensure that the Indo-Pacific remains free, remains open, stable, secure, and prosperous. The commitment to doing global good that we have all undertaken has a resonance far beyond this region.
Earlier on Monday, Minister Jaishankar held talks with his counterpart from Australia, Senator Penny Wong. Both leaders spoke about further steps to intensify bilateral ties, including in security, trade and education. My colleague Akshay Dongre is now joining us from New Delhi. He's been following this story closely. Akshay, tell us more about EAM Jaishankar asserting the need to strengthen cooperation in the Indo-Pacific.
Mark, when the formation of Quad was taking place, one thing had become very clear that there has to be a certain motive for this multilateral global forum. Now, as far as the Indo-Pacific region is concerned, in the past 2 decades, what we have seen is a threat to global, freedom of navigation, a threat to, freedom of trade, especially via sea routes, especially in regions as crucial as the South China Sea region, the Indo-Pacific region, and even in the Indian Ocean region, where not just individual nations are facing, problems, are struggling to counter the sort of hegemonic tendencies that have been exhibited by the Chinese government and the Chinese, military, but also to ensure that cooperation among the democratic world continues, and there should be a rule-based order as far as trade is concerned in the Indo-Pacific region, in the South China Sea, in the Indian Ocean region. And that is what Dr. S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, has also stressed, that there should be a rule-based order, not just for trade, but in terms of cyber security, in terms of economic development, because it is not just these four countries that are getting threatened by the sort of aggression that we are seeing in the South China Sea. Many of the ASEAN nations also have raised alarm
Yes.
about the freedom of trade in that particular region, including Vietnam, Philippines. Then we have other nations as well that have been time and again coming into, and there have been clashes as well with the Chinese Coast Guard as far as the vessels of other nations are concerned. So it seems that the Quad, as Dr. Jaishankar has stated, is here to stay, will remain to be a very important multilateral forum in the South China Sea and in the Indo-Pacific region.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much, Akshay, for joining us with those inputs. Now, following security discussions between Tokyo and Washington on Sunday, where the allies labeled China as the greatest strategic challenge facing the region, in his opening remarks, the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said that conflicts should end everywhere, but asserted the immense importance of the Indo-Pacific region.
Gaza, Ukraine, South Sudan, they get a lot of attention, understandably. They get attention from us, they get attention in the media, but even as we're doing what we need to do, what we must, to try to bring these conflicts to an end and to try to protect people, we have not lost sight. Indeed, we're resolutely focused on this region that we share.
The Australian Foreign Minister Penny Wong also underlined the importance of Quad for a free and stable Indo-Pacific.
Thank you for hosting us today, and greetings to our friends from India. And our region and our world are being reshaped. We all understand we face the most confronting Australia, India, Japan and the United States. We are a more effective partner for the region.
And Laura Westbrook is joining us now from Hong Kong with an update on this story. Laura, the Quad has labeled China as the greatest strategic challenge facing the region. Put this into context for us.
Yes, as you heard there, maritime security is a big focus of this year's Quad meeting. We also heard from Japan's Foreign Minister Yoko Kamikawa, who said that it was more important than ever for these four countries to come together to work for a free and open Indo-Pacific based on the rule of law. The significance of the Quad for India is also about the significance of maritime security and maritime governance as well. We will be waiting to hear what kind of joint statement these four countries come out with when it comes to China. Will they have a tougher wording than they did when they met last year in September? We'll have to wait and see. But it certainly seems like these countries are coming together, and they are coming together at a time of growing tension with China in the South China Sea. China claims almost all the South China Sea. We have seen increasing frequent combative encounters between China's Coast Guard and the Philippines. There are competing claims in the South China Sea, with the Philippines and Vietnam also claiming parts of the South China Sea. And China has also launched a series of military exercises around Taiwan in May, following the inauguration of Taiwan's President Lai Ching-te. It's actually been ramping up its military exercises around Taiwan in recent years. And earlier this month, China has been also stepping up its military exercises with Russia in the South China Sea as well.
Laura, the United States has announced plans of a major revamp of its military command in Japan. What is the evolving security environment that has prompted this move?
Yeah, this was a big announcement between these two key allies, the United States and Japan, with the two countries agreeing to hold what the US called its strongest improvement in military ties in 70 years. The US will upgrade the US forces Japan to a joint force headquarters with expanded missions. Now, earlier, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, he said that both sides opposed what he called China's actions to unilaterally change the status quo in the East China Sea and the South China Sea around Taiwan.
Laura, we are cutting you for a moment because we're going across live to Tokyo, where the External Affairs Minister Jaishankar is speaking.
As the person, not just the foreign minister, longest associated with the Quad, the real satisfaction I have is to see how deeply and systemically it has now got embedded in our foreign policies. Certainly, meetings such as the one we have just concluded are hugely helpful in giving direction. But the fact is that different agencies of our government and stakeholders beyond them, and this keeps expanding, now regularly interact with each other to take it forward. And our leaders have personally led the Quad's growth. Second, do appreciate what an expansive agenda we have built up in the last few years. Think about it. We are working from trusted telecom technology and undersea cable connectivity, you just heard Minister Wong talk about it, to humanitarian and disaster relief, Minister Kamikawa spoke about that, critical emerging technologies, cyber and health security, climate action, infrastructure, capacity building and training, STEM education, maritime domain awareness, and counterterrorism. And this, by the way, is the abbreviated list. There are 16 working groups, and we have just today agreed on more things to do. All of us are looking at how to advance Quad, how to resource it better, how to coordinate more closely, and I think we made some important steps today in that direction. Third, this is not a talk shop, but a platform that generates practical outcomes. For example, our HADR conversations are reflected in understandings and SOPs between our navies. The Indo-Pacific Maritime Domain Initiative that came out of Quad today links our information fusion centers. The Open RAN network that we have spoken about so much is being deployed in Palau. A space-based climate warning system will be launched soon in Mauritius. Off-grid solar projects are actually happening in Indo-Pacific Islands. During COVID, we cooperated to deliver vaccines to countries in this region. And the first cohort of Quad STEM fellowships is passing out, and the second one will also cover the ASEAN. Fourth, while I have given specific examples, it is important that we all connect the dots. The overall messaging is that our four countries, all democratic polities, pluralistic societies, and market economies, are working together for a free and open Indo-Pacific, for a rules-based order, and for global good. That, by itself, is a powerful stabilizing factor in an uncertain and volatile world. And fifth, there is a strong interactive dynamic between the Quad and our respective bilateral and even trilateral relationships. Progress on one front strengthens the other and thereby enhances the value of the Quad. We have been able to engage together with some other countries in this region in furtherance of a shared agenda. So, ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, these are challenging times. Whether it is stability and security, or progress and prosperity, good things don't happen by themselves. They need trusted partners. They need international cooperation. The Quad is a great contemporary example of both. As in the past, I'm very pleased with what we have discussed and what we have achieved today. Thank you.
Well, that was the External Affairs Minister speaking at the joint press meeting just going on in Tokyo at the conclusion of the Quad meeting. We'll continue to get you updates on that as and when the joint statement comes out. But let's continue. The 5th Joint Committee meeting for the review of ASEAN-India Trade in Goods Agreement is taking place in Jakarta in Indonesia, and the discussions for review of the agreement started in May 2023 to make it more trade facilitative and also beneficial for businesses across the region. A joint committee which is undertaking the review work has so far met 4 times. India and the 10-nation ASEAN bloc. They have agreed to conclude talks in 2025. The delegates from India and all 10 ASEAN countries are participating in the discussions. Still to come here on DD India News Hour. India's Weather Office says that the whole of northwestern India is under the active impact of the monsoons. And Education Week is being celebrated in India. It's marking 4 years since the new education policy came into effect. And 29th of July is International Tiger Day. We take a look at this majestic creature and its habitat.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. On Monday, India's Parliament is continuing a discussion on the national budget and also a separate budget for Jammu and Kashmir. A private member's business is also scheduled in both houses, and the deaths of students preparing for the nationwide examination is likely to echo in Parliament. On Friday, both houses of Parliament were adjourned amid the uproar by the opposition over Congress lawmaker and former Punjab Chief Minister Charanjit Singh Channi's remark that there is an undeclared emergency in the country. And Dibyendu Mondal, my colleague, is joining us from outside Parliament. He has more updates on this. Dibyendu, what's the listed business of the day?
Well, good morning, Mark. The Parliament will reconvene at about 11 a.m. this morning. And, the budget, the discussion on the budget presented by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will be taken up for discussion in both the houses of Parliament, apart from, the budget of Jammu and Kashmir. The key aspect of something that to look forward to within the Parliament today is, of course, the issue of the death of 3 students that were preparing for the UPSC exams here in Delhi's old Rajendra Nagar area. So, of course, that will echo in Parliament. several of the political parties have on record said that they will take up this issue in Parliament, and the Congress as well as the BJP is likely to bring up the issues of the crumbling infrastructure of the capital city of Delhi, which is currently being ruled by the Aam Aadmi Party. So of course, the cleaning of the drainage system, because remember, Mark, just half an hour of rain have created havoc in the national capital. So of course, a lot to be answered by the ruling Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi. So this is going to be echoed in Parliament. Today we'll see a lot of political parties picking this issue up and raising questions within both the houses of Parliament. Apart from this, of course, the 0 hour and the question hour, which is the normal business of the Parliament proceedings, will do happen when the Parliament convenes at 11 a.m. It's the first hour is dedicated to the question hour, and then from 12 o'clock it's the 0 hours of first, and after that we'll see the budget discussion taking place in both the houses of Parliament. Mark.
Right, and talking about that, Dibyendu, how is the the debate on the budget progressing, and who are the key speakers expected to talk today?
Well, Mark, we have been witnessing, fierce debate from both the ruling BJP as well as the opposition parties in both the houses of Parliament. The debate from the opposition side was opened by Kumari Shelja of the Congress, while we saw Biplab Deb, a former Chief Minister of Tripura, opening the debate for the ruling BJP. So of course, since then we have seen a plethora of speakers, giving their point of views for the budget 2024-25. Even today, we have a lineup of speakers from both, the BJP as well as the Congress Party and the other opposition parties, including the alliances of the BJP, which is the TDP, as well as the LJP and the JDU, that is likely to make this statement today in Parliament. So of course, the budget discussion, 20 hours each, Mark, have been dedicated to both the houses of Parliament to discuss the budget. So of course, it will continue to the 12th of August. And, several speakers over time we will see, giving their point of view, opinions, as well as some even suggesting amendments to the budget, which will be put to vote on the last day of Parliament.
Dibyendu Mandal for joining us. Thanks very much from outside Parliament House. Now, delegates invited to the UNESCO World Heritage Committee meeting visited monuments and enjoyed Indian cuisine on Sunday. They were briefed about the history of the monuments and the conservation efforts by the Archaeological Survey of India. The World Heritage Committee added new sites to its list. The meeting began on the 21st of July. India is hosting the World Heritage Committee meeting for the first time. It will conclude on 31st of July. The Municipal Corporation of Delhi has sealed the basement of 13 private institutes that teach students to prepare for the nationwide examination for recruitment to the civil services. Now this after 3 students died after the basements were flooded on Saturday evening local time. The corporation's crackdown on properties violating building bylaws followed protests in India's capital at these deaths. Students continued their protests on Monday. They are demanding justice and appropriate action from the government, including steps to prevent waterlogging in the area. They also sought punishment for these institutions, private institutions, and their landowners for running libraries and holding classes in a basement. The petition has also been filed in the Delhi High Court in this regard, and this petition seeks a directive from the Municipal Corporation of Delhi to implement immediate measures to prevent similar incidents from taking place in the future. The court's intervention aims to address and to mitigate issues related to waterlogging and safety. The India Meteorological Department, the National Weather Forecasting Agency, it's announced that active monsoon conditions are expected to impact most of northwestern regions of the country over the next 4 to 5 days. The weather agency also predicted an increase in rainfall activity with isolated heavy rains over the eastern parts of the country from Tuesday. As the ongoing and crucial monsoon season gathers steam, several states are experiencing heavy to very heavy rainfall impacting daily life and local conditions. In Madhya Pradesh, widespread heavy rains have been reported with the possibility of isolated very heavy showers. Coastal Karnataka and Kerala too are seeing substantial rainfall, which has led to flooding in some areas. The heavy downpours have caused disruptions and posed risks to residents. The IMD's forecast indicates that these intense rainfall patterns are likely to continue, with potential impacts extending to other parts of the country. J.R.D. Tata is a stalwart of industrialization in India, born on July 29, 1904 in Paris, in France. He was not just an industrialist, but a beacon of leadership and philanthropy. And as we mark his 120th birth anniversary, let's take a look at this great man. Here's a report by Antra Sinha.
July 29th marks the birth anniversary of Jahangir Ratanji Dadabhai Tata, more commonly known as J.R.D. Tata, a pioneering figure in Indian industry and philanthropy. Born in 1904, J.R.D. Tata's legacy continues to resonate profoundly within India's socio-economic landscape. His contributions span various domains ranging from steel and automobile to aviation, ancillary industries and consumer goods to social welfare, embodying the spirit of visionary leadership and ethical responsibility. J.R.D. Tata's impact on Indian industry is both profound and enduring. He assumed leadership of Tata Sons, the holding company of the Tata Group, in 1938. Under his stewardship, the Tata Group expanded its reach, establishing itself as a global conglomerate. One of his most notable achievements was the establishment of Tata Airlines, which was founded in 1932 and later became Air India, a pioneering move that set the foundation of India's aviation industry. J.R.D. Tata's influence extends beyond industrial achievements. His commitment to social causes and philanthropy reflects a deep sense of responsibility towards societal well-being. His contributions in establishing institutions like Tata Institute of Fundamental Research put foundation stone of India's scientific landscape. His contributions continue to inspire and guide us, offering a model of leadership that blends excellence with empathy. As we remember J.R.D. Tata on his birth anniversary, we honor not only his remarkable achievements, but also the principles that can guide us towards a progressive future with responsible corporate behavior. Antra Sinha for DD India.
Well, today we join the global community in celebrating International Tiger Day, rooted in the historic agreement signed at the St. Petersburg Tiger Summit in 2010. DD India correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya gives us this remarkable journey of tiger conservation with a special focus on India's pioneering project, Project Tiger.
Around the world, July 29th is celebrated as International Tiger Day. A day dedicated to raising awareness about tiger conservation and the protection of their natural habitats. This day serves as a reminder of the various agreements signed by various countries at the St. Petersburg Tiger Summit in Russia in 2010, aiming to highlight the critical decline in the global tiger population. By the 1970s, centuries of hunting and habitat destruction had reduced the number of wild tigers. In response, the Indian government declared tiger as India's national animal in 1973, banning hunting and launched a pioneering conservation initiative known as Project Tiger. This program focuses on conserving tigers in specially designated reserves, which represent various biogeographical regions across the country, striving to maintain viable tiger population in their natural environment. Today, India is home to more than 70% of the world's tiger population among the 13 tiger range countries, thanks to the long-standing efforts of the Project Tiger. This initiative has successfully allocated 2.3% of the country's geographical area to 54 tiger reserves. There are currently 3,682 on an average of tigers in India, an increase from 2,967 in 2018, reflecting an annual remarkable growth of 6.1%. Under the stewardship of Project Tiger, the initial 9 tiger reserves have now expanded to 54, supporting more than 70% of the global tiger population. The success of Project Tiger underscores the importance of continued efforts in conservation and the protection of natural habitats. The remarkable increase in India's tiger population stands as a beacon of hope and a testament to the tireless work of conservationists worldwide. With camera person Sandeep, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
India's Education Ministry is celebrating the 4th anniversary of the National Education Policy 2020 by holding a week-long campaign called Shiksha Saptah, which in Hindi is Education Week. It aims to promote collaboration and impactful educational reforms introduced by the National Education Policy of 2020 among students, educators and other stakeholders. Still to come here on DD India News Hour. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says that his country might enter Israel to help Palestinians. Ukraine's drone attack damages power plant in Russia's southwestern region of Oryol. Thousands of firefighters battle a blaze in the U.S. state of California.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts. We demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Here's a recap of our main stories. Securing a free, stable and secure Indo-Pacific remains high on the agenda as Quad foreign ministers meet in Tokyo. Jaishankar says a clear message should go that Quad is here to stay and grow. Israel's Prime Minister gets a cabinet backing to decide on the manner and timing of a Hezbollah rocket attack on Israeli-occupied Golan Heights, the retaliation for that. Despite multiple exit polls pointing to an opposition win, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro wins a third term with 51% of the vote. And after Manu Bakar's bronze, India pins its medal hopes on Arjun Babutha and Ramita Jindal in the 10-meter air rifle finals at the Paris Olympics. Israel's Security Cabinet on Sunday authorized Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government to decide when and how Israel responds to the deadly attack on the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. Well, after the meeting of the Israeli Security Cabinet ended, Netanyahu's office said that the cabinet authorized the Prime Minister and the Defense Minister to decide on the manner and timing of the response. Israel said that Hezbollah will pay the price after a rocket attack at the Golan Heights killed 12 people, in fact 12 children, for which Tel Aviv blamed the terror group. The Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has pledged a heavy response during a visit to the town of Majd al-Shams near the Syrian and Lebanese borders. Hezbollah denied responsibility for the attack on Majd al-Shams on Saturday, the deadliest in Israel or Israeli-occupied territory since Hamas's October 7 assault sparked the conflict in Gaza. Hezbollah was on high alert and had cleared some key sites in both Lebanon's south and eastern Bekaa Valley in case of an Israeli attack. As tension escalates, some flights at Beirut's airport have been cancelled or delayed, with Lebanon's Middle East Airlines saying that disruptions to its schedule were related to insurance risks. Lufthansa, Turkish, Greek and Ethiopian Airlines, they have also cancelled their flights to Beirut scheduled for Monday. Turkey's President Tayyip Erdogan has indicated on Saturday, I beg your pardon, he did so on Sunday in fact, the possibility of Turkey's intervening in Israel akin to its previous actions in Libya and Nagorno-Karabakh. Erdogan, who has been a fierce critic of Israel's offensive in Gaza, started discussing about it during a speech praising his country's defense industry. However, he did not provide specific details about the nature of the intervention. Erdogan's comments came after he previously called on the Islamic world to take action against Israel. In the latest from the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Ukrainian drones attack that damaged a power plant in southwestern Russian region of Oryol. Kiev, in fact, launched more than 24 drones on the Russian region of Kursk in several waves of attacks that started on Saturday night and damaged an oil depot. Firefighters were trying to put out the oil depot fire in the region sparked by Ukraine's drone attack. The Russian defense destroyed at least 39 drones launched by Ukraine. The Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has won a third term. The Electoral Authority has said so after midnight on Monday. Despite multiple exit polls which had pointed the opposition could likely win, the Venezuelan Electoral Authority, controlled by the ruling regime, said that Nicolas Maduro was re-elected as the country's president for 6 more years. With just 100 days for the U.S. elections, both the contenders for the presidential post are working hard to consolidate voters and also to accumulate resources for their campaigns. As the mood of the nation is swinging, a neck-and-neck contest is expected at the U.S. presidential elections. Now, this week, we see more intensified campaigns in the U.S. race for the president. The former President Trump has vowed that he will do more outside rallies. He's not worried about being intimidated by gunshots, he said. And the Democratic presidential nominee, Kamala Harris, has, on the other hand, managed to raise $200 million for intensifying a campaign in a short span of time. The U.S. Vice President also signed 170,000 new volunteers at the end of the week to spread the campaign for her across the states. Some polls in the U.S. show a sharp rise in Democrat support in comparison to what they were earlier receiving under Biden's candidacy, giving the Republican candidate and former President Donald Trump a bit of worry. Now, to face the new situation, Trump is expected to further deepen his campaign and consolidate his core vote bank once he goes out from today onwards. A ban on most abortions after about 6 weeks of pregnancy will come into effect from Monday in the U.S. state of Iowa. The Iowa Supreme Court reiterated in June that there is no constitutional right to an abortion in the state and ordered a hold on the law to be lifted. The district court judge's order last week set July 29 as the first day of enforcement. Previously, abortion was legal up to 20 weeks of pregnancy in Iowa. Last July, the state's Republican-controlled legislature passed a new ban on the procedure after 6 weeks of pregnancy, which often is before women even know they are pregnant, according to many women. Weather updates from across the globe. Rapidly growing wildfire in the Northern California. It has left thousands of firefighters battling after the blaze doubled in size within 24 hours. By Saturday afternoon, which was 2 days ago, the park fire had burnt over 350,000 acres north of Sacramento, the state capital, according to the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. They were expecting more humid weather, and that was predicted, and that was supposed to help in their efforts to contain the fire. 134 structures were destroyed in the fire. Many towns throughout numerous counties received warnings and orders to evacuate. Rigid blaze of wildfires has left behind ashes in Canada as well. More than several thousand residents were forced to evacuate as the blaze engulfed the region. The authorities have said that steady progress is being made to try and contain these fires. The Canadian tourist town of Jasper has also been hit. Massive fires destroyed about 1/3 of the town. Officials said that the fire in Jasper National Park was the largest wildfire that battered the region in more than 100 years in the park. A dike breach occurred in a river in central China's Hunan. More than 3,100 people have been evacuated. Typhoon Gemi swept through central China's Hunan province that brought record high precipitation to the county level city of Xinjiang. The weather department in Xinjiang recorded 487.5 millimeters of rainfall in 12 hours on Saturday and made new records for the highest rainfall in the province. Some business news now. Asian shares have rebounded on Monday ahead of the week packed with earnings and a trio of central bank meetings. Well, we expect some good news. The experts are predicting that the United States and UK could open the door to easing, while Japan might lift borrowing costs in a step towards normality. The yen value has risen as the Middle East tension has exposed fragile sentiment. The Bank of Japan, 70% chance to hike its interest rates. That's what they say, by 10 basis points. That's what the implication is. And the oil prices have inched up on fears of a widening conflict in the Middle East. The Indian stock markets have opened in the green. Plenty of good rallies there on Monday. The National Stock Exchange, the Nifty 50, it opened 108.45 points up, and the Sensex had gained 346.93 points up. The Sensex was trading at 81,679 an opening trade. And in the broader market, as we said, the NSE, all indices, including the NSE Mid Cap, the NSE Small Cap, and the NSE 50, Next 50 that is, opened in the green. The sectoral indices also sustained a rally, starting the week with gains. You're watching DD India News Hour. Let's get you the sports news now. And we'll begin with news from the Paris Olympics. The Indian contingent, after securing their first medal at the Paris Olympics on Sunday, they look to add 2 more medals, at least, I hope, as India will pay 2 medal events on day 3 of the shooting. Narayan Singh gets us more.
Following their first medal at the 2024 Paris Olympics on Sunday, the Indian contingent aims to build this success and boost their medal tally on Monday also, striving for the double digits of medals. India will play 2 medal events on day 3 in shooting, as Ramita Jindal will play in women's 10-meter air rifle finals event, and it will be 1 p.m. IST, while Arjun Singh Babuta will play in men's 10-meter air rifle finals event around 3:30 p.m. IST. India can also play another medal match if the men's archery team can win their quarter-final match at Invalides. Apart from this, India will have more shooting action on day 3 when Prithviraj will represent India in the men's trap event, while the Indian teams consisting of Manu Bhaker and Saurabh Singh in one team, and in another team the shooters Rhythm and Arjun Singh Chima will play in 10-meter pistol team qualification event. Indian men's hockey team will also look to continue their winning streak when they will face Argentina in their group match. It will take place around 4:15 p.m. It will be the IST timing. And if you talk about badminton, the Indian contingent will also continue in their 2024 journey when Lakshya Sen, after winning his first match in men's singles, and the star duo of Satvik Sairaj and Chirag Shetty, after winning their doubles match, will look to continue their winning journey in the second match also. And that will also take place, we can say that around the evening timing of 5:30 p.m. And if we talk about women's doubles pair, that is of Ashwini Ponappa and Tanisha Castro, who lost their first match, will be also in action, looking to get back to the winning ways and keep their medal hope alive in this mega event.
And earlier we did speak to Narayan, and we began by asking him, the Indian government has made immense efforts in providing the best to the Indian contingent through various measures, and how do you see that? That's what we asked him.
A crucial role in the success of our athletes. We know that there are several schemes for our athletes, especially when Manu Bhaker met PM Modi before leaving for the Paris Games. In that interaction also she mentioned about the role of Khelo India scheme in her career, and she said that through Khelo India she got many facilities, and after that when she was introduced in the schemes like TOPS, the Target Olympic Podium scheme, where she got more benefits like the exposure to the foreign tours, like equipments, and also not only equipments, but there are many more facilities with the top schemes. They are financing their trips, they are financing their equipments, the ammunition. As far as the sports of shooting is considered, it is very expensive, and government is helping a lot to these shooters. And also we can say that a full team of doctors is there with the Indian contingent in the Paris Games. In Games Village there is a team of 13 specialist doctors who are monitoring our athletes. They're taking care of their mental health. There are conditioning coaches, there are recovery doctors, so that our athletes can recover very early after practice and after their matches. And if you talk about Indian team, have the best medicine expert, the sports medicine expert like Dingshaw Prediwala. He is one of the best names in the sports medicine. And not only this, our athletes are also getting the emotional support from the system, especially PM Modi talks to them, interacts with them. Whenever they are winning, he congratulates them. Also when Manu Bhaker won her bronze medal in this edition of the Paris Games, PM Modi called her and congratulated her. So when such sort of environment is there in the country, definitely our athletes their morale get boosted. And we can say that all these things are the factors behind the rise of our athletes. So we are hoping that as the tournament, as the mega event Olympics will progress, our athletes will win more medals for the country in this coveted event.
And India's Sports Minister and Minister for Youth Affairs, Dr. Mansukh Mandavia, has also addressed the media regarding the ongoing Olympic Games. In his address, the minister said that 117 players have been sent to the Olympics and that the financial assistance has been arranged for them through the Target Olympic Podium scheme.
117 प्लेयर ओलंपिक्स में गए हैं, ये सभी को टॉप्स के तहत आर्थिक व्यवस्था उपलब्ध कराई गई, यानी कि उसको बेस्ट कोचिंग दिया गया, उसको विदेश के कोच की आवश्यकता होगी तो विदेश के कोच हायर करा गया, उसका खर्च टॉप स्कीम के तहत करा गया। उसको विदेश में ट्रेनिंग की आवश्यकता है तो विदेश में ट्रेनिंग के लिए भेजा गया। जो हमारे 117 प्लेयर हैं सभी को ये योजना का लाभ मिला है।
Well, DD India correspondent Narayan Singh has spoken exclusively to Manu Bakar's in fact, he spoke to a conversation with Manu Bakar's coach, Jaspal Rana. Let's listen.
Manu Bakar has won first medal for India at the Paris Games. And to explain this and to talk more on this, I am joined by the coach of Manu Bakar, Mr. Jaspal Rana. Sir, a very warm welcome.
Thank you.
History has been created. First time of women shooter winning a medal. So, talking about the journey of Manu Bakar, it was the Tokyo where, if you talk about whole Indian shooting, it was at its low. And after that, that period of 3 years, and again, standing at the podium for Manu, how you look this journey?
I was not part of the Tokyo, so I don't know much about anything in the past. But definitely, there's a lot of work has been done by her, and she sacrificed a lot of things to reach here. And I think it's worth now after winning that first medal for the country. And everybody's happy, and so am I.
2036, we are planning to bid. But overall, sir, if talk about the Indian shooting, do you think the kind of shooters we all have, very young, very talented, and largest contingent? So do you think, what's the reason behind that a large number of young shooters are coming and largest contingent is there? What's the basic reason behind it?
Honestly, I think because we started winning medal and people started believing that we can win medal, like Abhinav Bindra was one of the biggest reason. And uske baad Gagan Narang, Vijay, Mr. Rathore. तो जब medal आते हैं तो everybody wants to, they believe that, they also can do it. And that's why a lot of kids are joining shooting or other sports like badminton. And the facilities are getting better in India.
As the coach of the Manu Bakar mentioned that in final anything could happen. But overall, the way Manu Bakar performed, credit goes to his coach also, because we know that he in himself is a legend of the game. At one point of time, we know that Jaspal Rana was the flag bearer of the Indian shooting, and now he is mentoring the youth like Manu Bakar. And when such combo is there, definitely we are hoping that India is going to rise in shooting, especially at the top podiums like Olympics and other mega events. With camera person Senthil, Narayan Singh for DD India, Paris.
The renowned sand artist Sudarshan Patnaik created a stunning sand sculpture to congratulate Manu Bakar for winning India's first medal at the Paris Olympics 2024. The intricate artwork, crafted on the shores of the Puri beach in Odisha, features Manu Bakar holding her medal with the Olympic rings in the background. Patnaik's tribute celebrates Bakar's remarkable achievement and symbolizes the national pride in her accomplishment. Simone Biles, the most decorated gymnast in history, is back for her third games after withdrawing from most of her events at the Tokyo Olympics. DD India's Narayan Singh will bring us more from Paris.
Now it's time for some international updates from the Paris Olympics. NBA star power on full display as LeBron James and Kevin Durant and Anthony Edwards led the US team to an emphatic win over the Serbian team. And in gymnastics, Simone Biles made a long-awaited Olympic return, fighting through the calf pain to post an impressive all-round score. The US women's gymnastics squad has advanced to the team final. And talking about tennis coach, Andy Murray extended his career at least for one other match as he and his British doubles partner earned a thrilling comeback win. Meanwhile, Spain's Rafael Nadal won his return to the singles action, setting up a second round match with best player right now, Novak Djokovic. Talking about swimming, French swimmer Léon Marchand just absolutely likened his competition in the 400-meter individual relay and set an Olympic record while doing so. Marchand was heavily favored in the race and was already the world record holder. His time on Sunday was nearly 6 seconds ahead of his closest competitor. and he topped Michael Phelps' Olympic record too.
That's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, get the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available in Android and iOS platforms. Scan it and download it. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Mark Lynn. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour. Namaskar.